Today I've got a treat for you with a Lovecraftian Cthulhu-style mystery from the series Lot 36. So let's jump right into the story. At the very beginning of the story, we see an elderly man chopping meat in his home. Suddenly, he has a heart attack, and just like that, it's all over. The poor guy didn't even get the time to say goodbye to anyone or write a will. And on top of that, the rent for the storage unit he leased, lot number 36, is several months overdue. By law, if rent isn't paid, the storage company seizes the unit and auctions off the items inside. This American law is pretty strange. These unclaimed storage units are sold kind of like a blind box or a lottery, meaning you won't know what's inside, but you have to bid on it to buy it. Those with good luck might buy it for peanuts and find a fortune inside, while others get burned. But honestly, most of these hunters or treasure seekers end up taking a loss. Our story's protagonist, Nick, is also one of these treasure hunters. He buys that room, lot 36, at the auction for $400. After getting burned on a few previous auctions, Nick is now drowning in massive debt. The loan shark gave him a warning that he has to pay up today, or else there will be consequences. So this unit, lot 36, is Nick's last chance to turn things around. While handing over the keys, the storage manager, a black gentleman, shows Nick some CCTV footage. The footage shows that the dead old man used to enter that room every day for decades, carrying a package, and before entering, he would strangely hop once in front of the door. The manager suspects this guy's madness implies there must be a secret gold mine inside. Nick doesn't care about that though, because he's been burned before buying old people's hoarded trash. But today, he has no choice but to take the gamble. He takes the key and goes to his car to grab some tools. Right after Nick leaves, an elderly woman approaches the manager. She wants to pay off the rent for her storage unit, number 87, but the manager tells her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, you are way too late. Everything in unit 87 was sold at auction just last week." The old lady says in shock, "But I didn't know that." The manager explains he called and emailed many times but got no response. The old lady explains she couldn't get in touch because she was moving houses. The manager then points to Nick through the window and says, "See that guy over there? He's the one who bought your unit's contents. You can try talking to him. Maybe he'll be kind enough to give your things back." The old lady rushes over to Nick. She pleads with Nick, "Son, there were some old family photos and letters in that room. I really need them. Could you please give them back?" But Nick is a pretty selfish and hard-hearted guy. He tells her straight up, "You want the photos and letters? Fine, give me $1,000. Just think about it. $1,000 back then was several months of income for that old lady. The old lady stares blankly, as she simply doesn't have that kind of money. Nick then mockingly hands the broken lock from Unit 87 to the old lady and says, "No money, no stuff." Actually, dealers like Nick know that sentimental items are priceless to people, so he wanted to take advantage of that. The old lady gets angry and curses Nick. "You're going to hell, you devil." Nick just laughs. For him, the loan shark's beating is a bigger fear than hell. He figures if he doesn't get the money, his life will be a living hell anyway. Nick then opens the lock to room 36, which he just bought. As he lifts the shutter, he sees the room is packed with old furniture and clothes. Nick's experienced eyes tell him he won't lose money today. In fact, something big is waiting. While searching, he finds a gold chandelier inside a suitcase, and he can tell right away it's an antique piece. Next, he finds a photo album. He opens the album and is shocked to see they are all original photos of Nazi officers from World War II. That means the owner of this room, that old man, was involved with the Nazis. Nick hides the chandelier. Then he spots a strangely beautiful table in one corner of the room. There is a pentagram or star symbol drawn on top of the table. Nick thinks this will also be worth a lot of money. He plans to take the chandelier and the table to a famous antique shop in the city right away. But trouble strikes in the parking lot before he can even get in his car. A massive thug comes out of the darkness and attacks Nick. Holding a hammer, he beats Nick to a pulp. After busting Nick's head open, he says, "That was just a little love tap from the boss. Next time we meet, I'll kill you." After the guy leaves, Nick sees that the old lady was standing a little ways off, watching everything. She didn't offer any help, even after seeing Nick get beaten. Instead, she just stared with cold eyes. Nick curses at the old woman while groaning in pain, and she quietly walks away. Nick somehow gets up, goes to the manager and gets some first aid. The manager tells him, "Those regular shops in town will rip you off. You should go to an antique shop owned by a woman named Agatha. She'll give you a fair price." Nick arrives at that antique shop. The owner, Agatha, doesn't show much excitement when she sees the chandelier, saying it's a common item. Nick gets disappointed. But the moment Nick unloads that strange table from the car to show her, Agatha's eyes light up. She realizes at a glance that this is no ordinary table. She says, "This is a séance table, a table for summoning spirits. It's worth a fortune to those who practice black magic or summon souls." While examining the table, Agatha presses a secret button. Instantly, a secret compartment pops out from inside the table, and inside that compartment are 3 books with black covers. As soon as she sees the books, Agatha starts trembling with excitement. She says these books are worth far more than the table itself, but since she isn't an expert on this herself, she quickly calls up a specialist named Roland. Roland arrives and recognizes the table immediately. Excitedly, he asks Nick, "Do you have any idea what you found? This table was made in Austria, and this red paint you see, it's not ordinary paint. It's made from the blood of virgins. This wasn't used to summon ordinary spirits, but to call upon Satan or the devil himself." Then Roland picks up the 3 books found with the table. He freezes the moment he sees the books. He looks at Nick and asks, "Where is the 4th book?" Nick says in surprise, "Why? There were only 3. I didn't find any other books." Roland says, "Listen carefully. There are a total of 4 books in this set. The titles of these 3 books are The Rules of Summoning Satan, The Encyclopedia of Satan, and The Pact with Satan. Currently, the market value of just these 3 books is about $10,000. But if you find the 4th book, which is the rarest, then the entire set will be worth $300,000. That is an absolute fortune, because that 4th book contains the instructions on how to bind or control the demon after summoning it, and without that, the rest of the process is extremely dangerous." Roland drops a terrifying piece of information on Nick. He explains that usually, once a contract with the devil is fulfilled, the 4th book burns itself to ash. But if that book is still intact, it means the demon was summoned but never got its payment. Instead, some spell was used to trap it right here in this world. Nick, being a total skeptic, doesn't believe a word of these ghost stories or demon theories. He cuts Roland off and says, "Look, keep your theories to yourself. Just tell me this. If I go back to the warehouse and find that 4th book, will you close the deal today?" Roland agrees immediately. He says, "Absolutely. You bring me the book and I'll write you a check for $300,000 right now. And to show I'm serious, I'll buy the table and chandelier from you this instant." Smelling the money, Nick doesn't waste a second. He grabs Roland and heads straight back to Lot 36. On the way, Roland fills him in on the true history. He reveals that the original owner of the storage unit was actually a European who made weapons for the Nazis during World War II. The family was filthy rich, but the man wasn't just a businessman, he practiced black magic. Rumor has it he sacrificed his own sister to the devil just to stay wealthy forever. Nick hears all this but couldn't care less. To him, these are just fairy tales. He snaps back, "I don't need a history lesson, I just want the cash." Chatting along the way, they arrive at the warehouse. Before entering, Roland insists on lighting a candle because he believes light acts as a shield against evil forces. Nick snaps at him, saying, "Save your superstitions, just shut up and follow me." They start searching every nook and cranny. Nick is tossing old junk everywhere. Meanwhile, Roland finds old newspaper clippings, confirming that the man's sister had indeed gone missing suddenly, causing quite a stir back in the day. Suddenly, Nick notices a spot on the wall where the paint looks slightly different. Looking closer, he realizes there is a secret door hidden there. Nick's heart starts racing with excitement. He figures the 4th book must be behind it. He breaks the lock and opens the door, and instantly, a foul, rotting smell wafts out. It's enough to make you gag. Ahead lies a long, dark tunnel. Roland nervously holds up the candle. Nick is ready to charge right in, but Roland stops him. He warns, "Listen, if you see anything unusual inside, do not panic and do not touch anything. And whatever you do, don't look anything in the eye. Just follow my lead." Nick gets annoyed and says, "Shut up, don't lecture me. If you want the book, keep your mouth shut and come with me." Nick takes the lead, with Roland following behind with the candle as they move through the tunnel. They notice the walls are lined with crucifixes and pages torn from the Bible. It's clear these are seals meant to keep some evil force from getting out. The smell becomes unbearable. When they reach the very end of the tunnel, what they see is enough to freeze the blood in their veins. On the floor, there is a strange geometric design, a magic circle, and right in the middle of it lies a skeletal, twisted corpse. Roland recognizes it immediately. This is the missing sister, Dottie. But looking closely, it's not really a human body anymore. The inside is completely hollow. It's like a skin suit. And inside that shell, something black is moving. Roland realizes the demon has been trapped inside this girl's body by a spell. The scene is horrific, but Nick's eyes are glued to something else. He sees that priceless fourth book lying right inside the magic circle. To him, that's not a book. That's a winning lottery ticket worth millions. Blinded by greed, Nick doesn't think twice and steps straight toward the circle. Roland tries to warn him from behind, but Nick isn't listening to anyone. The moment Nick breaks the boundary of the magic circle to grab the book, all hell breaks loose. Suddenly, the wind starts swirling violently in the room, and Roland's candle flares up. Nick is too busy checking out the book to notice that behind him, the dead body has started to move. Suddenly, terrifying tentacles shoot out from inside the corpse like an octopus. Nick turns around and sees the twisted corpse standing up. This is enough to terrify even the bravest soul. Nick, the non-believer, clutches the book under his arm and sprints in the opposite direction. But poor Roland is frozen in fear, his feet glued to the floor. In an instant, the demon wraps around Roland and devours him in the blink of an eye. After eating Roland, the demon is fully unleashed. Now it sets its sights on Nick. Nick runs for his life through the tunnel and reaches the main door of the warehouse. But as he tries to open it, his world comes crashing down. The door has been locked from the outside. Through the gap in the door, Nick sees the old lady, the same one he insulted and kicked out earlier that morning, standing there. Nick screams, "Please open the door, there's a demon inside." But the old lady doesn't flinch. She looks at Nick with cold eyes, as if this is exactly what she wanted. Then she takes the broken lock that Nick had mockingly given her, hands it on the door, and calmly walks away. This is what you call karma, or nature's justice. Nick has nowhere left to run. Desperate, he tries to hide in the corners of the warehouse, but you can't hide from the devil. The demon emerges from the shadows, dragging Nick screaming into the darkness, and with his final screams, the story ends. So friends, that was the story of Lot 36. It's the first episode of the popular Netflix series Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. It has an IMDb rating of over 7. The movie teaches us a deep psychological lesson, how low greed and arrogance can bring a person. If Nick had just been a little kinder to that old lady, maybe he wouldn't have had to die like this today. Greed blinds people and eventually leads them to their doom. What do you think? Did Nick deserve what happened to him, or was the old lady a bit too cruel? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, because your likes encourage me to make the next video. See you in the next one with an even scarier story. Bye-bye.